right, all right.
This is the Furlough Podcast, brought to you by All American Ford in Aniana,
Hey,
Alabama.
give me
Stop
some
by
stuff.
and see John Makovica and his team today.
All right, you got a little. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, that's
All
all
right.
right.
All right, everybody, we're back. We had a little technical difficulties. Everybody got to hear me and Dave going. I got no snare drum in my ear, left ear. Was it the song from God, Eighth Mile or whatever? Got no
Yeah.
snare drum. Got no snare drum.
What you got? You don't have hearing in one ear?
No, I was just repeating because you were like, I can't turn me up, turn
Oh
me
yeah.
up. So I was playing off Eminem.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, welcome back.
Yep, we
Glad to
back,
see you,
bitches.
Dave.
Mm.
Man, before we get started, I want to say last weekend was very good.
Pretty
We
epic.
had a great show on Friday the 13th, and we had a great show, turnout for the meet and greet
Mhm.
at Club South. Club South is really making a resurgence.
Yeah.
Glad to see it. The Leaders came out. It
Yeah.
was fantastic. They rolled in hard. And if you don't know about the Leaders are a female biker motorcycle group. Um, they apparently know how to have a good time.
It was a lot of fun. So that was my first exposure to them,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna tell you, I jumped right into the mix. They were sitting off on the side, and typical form, I jumped in the middle of them,
Yeah.
and we had a lot of fun. It was a good group of girls. I'm
That's a
telling you.
that's a good group of girls, man. I like it. But before we get deep in this, because I don't want to lose track, everybody that knows me knows that I try to keep my cool, straight laced,
Mm.
you know. But I had a lost my shit moment this week.
Mm.
This week I was at work. I get a phone call, and it said Gardendale, and I was like, okay, that's weird. And I pick up, I answer the phone. And it's a dispatcher for the police department. And they're like, "Hey, do you own a dog? Brindle mix, pit bull, whatever." And I said, "Yeah." And I was like, "What the fuck?" And she goes, "Well, your neighbor has your dog." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, obviously, dog must have gotten loose or whatever." So, unbeknownst to me, Amber is at the vet clinic with her other dog, Puff Daddy, P Diddles,
Mm.
shitbag as I like to call him. But he crossed the Rainbow Bridge, they like to say. He passed away, and she was there dealing with that. And this other knucklehead dog we have has gotten loose from her, and she was not in the mental state to chase this knucklehead dog down. So she was like, "Well, it'll come back to the porch, whatever." So I call her, and when she answers the phone, she's not in a mental state of dealing with this dog. So go and I start to tell my boss I'm fixing to leave to go handle this stuff. And this fucking dispatcher called me back again. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming, blah, blah. And I'm 30 plus minutes away. I'm clear on the other side of town. So I'm on the road. I'm hauling ass down there. Third time this bitch calls me. So now I'm agitated. And I tell this lady, I said, look, lady, my wife's dealing with another dog that she's having put down right now. I'm on my way as fast and as hard as I can get there.
Mm.
Well, do you have a backyard that they can stick the dog in, this and that? And I'm thinking, just let that motherfucker loose, is
Mm.
what I'm thinking. So I'm agitated. So I get there, and this fucking old lady, yes, I said fucking old lady, lives 3 houses down from me. Never met this bitch before in my life. I roll up. There's two police officers at her house, two cop cars. I roll up, and now I'm just fucking fuming, right? But I don't say nothing. I keep it calm, and I guess I look like a detective or something. Got the slim back here. I had
High
a
and tight.
high and tight. I had khaki tactical pants on, a black Under Armour collar shirt. I probably look like a fucking detective to her initially. So I come walking up, and the cop looks funny at me, and he goes, "That's your dog?" I said, "Yep." And I walked right by that motherfucker. Never checked up. Just walked right by that cop. And this bitch had my dog chained to her porch with what looked like a clothesline, little braided wire with
Mm.
clean little clamp on there. And she looks up at me kind of funny, and I just look at her, and I reach down, I unclip the dog, and I start taking the dog. She goes, Who is that? He can't just take that dog. I'm like, I looked over my shoulder. I said, yeah, I can. It's my fucking dog. And I was hot, man, because I'm having a bad day. I know because I know Amber's having a bad day.
Uh,
I'm here, and I walked right by the cop again. I put the fucking dog in the car, right? And I'm keeping my cool. I'm not raising my voice or nothing. So after I put the dog in the truck, come back over there because I know this motherfucker is not just gonna let me just drive off. So I didn't feel like him chasing me 4 houses down. So I walked back to the cop, stone cold face. He goes, "You got your ID on you?" I said, "Yeah." I hand my ID. He starts
why would you need an ID to just get your fucking dog back?
Well, he's writing down shit, you know. And so I don't know what he's writing down at the time, but apparently doing a report. So this bitch, this fucking look, if you got a mother, an aunt, a sister, some old bitch you know or like, tell them to don't be Miss Tough Girl and call the cops and decide you're going to run your cocksucker when the cops are standing there.
Mm.
Okay, so she's sitting there with folded arms, and I know I sound gruff, and I apologize, people, but I have to vent this out. So she's standing there with her arms closed, and she's all tight and balled up, and she's just got this sour look on her face. She goes, "That dog gets out all the time," which is not true, and that dog's a cat killer. It's killed cats over here, this and that, and this and that. And I'm just looking at her, and I go, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, it gets out all the time. It's a cat killer." I said, "No, ma'am, it does not." Blah, 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 blah. She's around. I said, "All right." I got one cop that's sitting in the car. He's sitting there with like one leg out, and I got another one standing, and he's closer than you and I. I said, "Okay." I said, "Do you want to kill it?" And she goes, "What?" I said, "Do you want to kill the dog?" I said, "We can kill it right here." I said, "These two fine officers right here, we can plug a couple rounds in it. It'll be done with." And she just looks at me like I'm crazy. I said, "What do you want me to do? I'm giving you options, lady." And she's like, "That's your dog." And she's doing this 3-step pace back and forth, right?
Mm.
So I'm just staring at her cold. I'm not raising my voice. Cops never said a word. And I'm like, I'm just standing there. And I know she's going to say something else. I can feel it. So she's just standing. I'm just staring at her. And she goes, "Well, all I'm saying is," and I said, before she can finish, I said, "Lady, I've offered you," I said, "if you want to kill this dog, let's kill this dog right here." I looked at the cop and said, "You want to kill the dog?" He goes, "Oh, yeah."
Right,
He's like,
right.
he was just writing away. He was writing forever too, and I'll get to that. And I was like, I mean, what do you want from me? It's a fucking dog. It didn't hurt a person, didn't hurt a thing. Okay, I don't know if it hurt a cat, but your fucking cats are obviously running all over hell and creation. But you're worried about my fucking dog.
Mm.
And what had me aggravated was the caller tells you 2 names and 2 phone numbers and an address, unless I'm incorrect.
But
That
she'd rather call the
but
police.
she'd rather fucking call the police, right? And I'm thinking, that's what's wrong with society today. Instead of getting on there and calling says, "Hey, Chris, I have your dog down here and I'd like to talk to you about it. You know, this and that, blah, blah, blah." Or even call me and say, "Hey, I got your fucking dog that's been killing cats down here. Could you come get it?" I'd rather meet you like that than roll up like I'm coming to a homicide investigation. You know what I'm saying? Fucking cop cars and lights going everywhere. And I'm thinking, I don't know, we don't know our neighbors, right?
Uh,
And that's the problem. Instead of handling it, everything, police are there for a reason, right? And they do a hard enough job as it is. But every instance in your life dealing with somebody outside of your family does not have to be wrapped around fucking police.
no, I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying? Just call me. If my dog fucks something up and you show me that it fucked it up, I will fix it. I'm a nice fucking guy. But to call the fucking law, and it's a fucking dispatcher call me every 10 minutes. Are you coming? Are you coming? Are you coming?
You should have been like, "Look, bitch, unless you got a bag of dead cats, you better
Well,
slow it down."
I didn't even know. I didn't even know at that point.
Oh.
When the dispatcher was calling or whatever, I'm just like, why is this bitch pressuring me?
Mm.
Well, they gotta leave. Well, let that motherfucker loose. She's smart. She'll go back to the house.
It's already chained to the porch. What do you want?
Yeah,
Leave.
yeah,
Go where the fuck you want to go. You want to
yeah.
go to the moon? Go to the fucking moon. Who gives a shit?
So I was so aggravated. So I know my neighbor now thinks that I'm fucking batshit crazy, and I am, but I hide it and I try to keep it inside. I try not to lose my mind. I really work hard at it.
Mm.
But that was one of those things I wanted to get that out there as a public service announcement of, instead of jumping up and calling the cops and making something, oh, and I got a fucking ticket.
From that cop?
Yeah.
For
So
what?
so I'm standing there and she walks off and I looked at him, I said, "Are we done?" And he goes, "Where do you live?" I said, "2 houses down." And he goes, "I'll be there in a minute." And I said, "All right." So I get in the truck, back up 2 fucking houses, maybe 3, pull the thing, take this knucklehead dog I got, throw its ass in the house, and I go back out to my truck and he pulls up and he goes, and I first thing I did too is when he pulled up, he didn't even get out of his vehicle. He pulls up in the driveway, he's got the window down, he's writing something and he goes, I go, "Hey, first of all, I want to apologize if I seem gruff." And I didn't raise my voice. I raised my voice more on telling the story than I did when I was thinking. And I said, "If I came across gruff, I apologize. I respect you guys. You have to deal with this crap every day." And he goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, "She was reading me the riot act the whole time before you got there." And I'm thinking, and he goes, "I hate to do this, but I gave you the ticket." And when I wasn't thinking about, it's almost like an argument. You don't think about it till it's later.
Mm.
The later that day, I was like, you know what? That bitch had my dog chained to her porch. That's theft of property.
Mm.
I was like,
But what do you give you a ticket for?
a loose dog?
That's a ticket?
Yeah,
Oh, I should get a ticket every fucking day.
yeah,
I should have one today.
yeah,
Huh.
yeah. If they see your dog not on a leash and it's running around, you'll give you a ticket.
Are you serious? How much?
I don't know. I got to call and find out.
Ah, damn. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh. So, you know what? That bitch deserves to have a couple dead cats.
Nobody likes fucking cats anyway. Fuck those evil little.
I got a
bastards.
19-year-old cat. I can't say nothing. But fuck. Every time I tell somebody I got a 19-year-old cat, they turn it to a perverse thing. But it's a real cat.
Like you got
Yeah.
some little girl
Yeah.
tied up in the back room.
No, it's a real fucking cat. And everybody looks at me like I'm a pervert. I'm like, it's a real fucking cat. Calm down. Well, fuck that bitch over there.
Yeah, man. I was like, damn, people. I mean, let's get it together. Let's get it together as neighbors. Let's get it together as just fucking people, man. We don't have to call the cops. I mean, when I walked up, this fucking knucklehead dog's just. I mean, obviously, this old geriatric bitch was able to put it on a damn chain
If she was so scared, why wouldn't she just shut the door to her house
and
then
call
like
the cops.
look through a window?
Yeah.
Why you want to attach it to your house?
Yeah,
It's like if you had a dragon outside.
yeah,
You wouldn't attach the motherfucker to your house. You just go inside and look at it through a window.
yeah.
Oh, why? What's wrong with this?
That's my point. This vicious animal.
yeah.
It's because it's a pit. And that was her, the people in this location, that dog was illegal up until like a year ago
I
in this
didn't know
town. Yeah, it's a breed specific law. And then the town next to us got, and I may be telling a lie, but I think they got sued or was trying to get sued and they had to change their law. So when they did, this town was proactive and said, well, we better change that fucking ruling before they come after us next.
Yeah.
So there's mean dogs of every breed.
Oh, there's no doubt.
But this fucking knucklehead dog was just sitting there laughing it up. Did it chase a fucking cat? I'm sure. Do all dogs of any decent size chase cats? Absolutely.
That's what they do, baby.
That's what they do. I wanted to say, you come up with all these great comebacks later. And my buddy Joe goes, but you can overdo it with the comebacks. But the comebacks just keep working in my head.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, I'm like, God forbid, before we domesticated these motherfuckers and these dogs and cats were running around all that stuff, I bet there wasn't one dog that chased a cat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So is she gonna be mad when the damn coyotes that are invading this area, that are making their way through suburbs and stuff like that, she gonna call the cops and
She'll probably have it chained to her porch.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Fucking coyotes chasing?
I'm sure.
Did you see the video of the 2 coyotes in Mountain Brook that were chasing a cat on these people's front porch?
No.
Yeah, I mean, so coyotes don't know residential lines. You know what I'm
Oh, yeah.
saying? Yeah,
They don't respect that.
They don't respect it.
But I did see the video of 2 bald eagles killing a coyote. If you haven't seen that one,
Oh, that's cool as fuck.
it is wild.
I gotta check that out.
That shit is wild,
They just
dude.
decided they wanted a little dog meat, huh?
And those, let me tell you, those eagles, they look like pterodactyls. Them things are huge, and they're
Yeah,
just going to town on
people
it.
don't realize how big eagles are, man.
Yeah.
Bald eagles, or was it a red eagle? What do you think? What
Oh no,
was
they were bald
bald
eagles.
eagles? They're fucking huge,
Yeah.
man.
No, I spent some time up in Alaska, and those things are ominous. I
Have you
mean, they're
seen the
huge.
videos where the guy, the fisherman, and he's cutting up fish,
Yeah.
and the fucking
And there's like
bald
50 of them.
yeah, and the bald eagle just walks up and like taking it from him, and
Yeah.
he wasn't fucking with it either. He just gave it some fish, told it to go on.
Those things are prehistoric, dude. Shit, yeah, yeah. But to go back to your story, I agree 100%. Listen, I don't know. I may have told you privately the time where I tried to rent a room out in my house in Southside
I
and,
vaguely remember.
to a young girl. So I had a pretty nice house in Southside.
Yeah, you did. Everybody liked it.
And it was set up nicely. So me and my roommate, we were late 20s, and so we had an extra bedroom. And so the scheme was, I go, hey, listen, dude, here's what we'll do. Actually, it was a 4-bedroom house. I rented a room to him, and I thought, okay, here's what we're going to do. Watching Bang Bus and all that stuff. I go, I'm going to rent this other room out to some hot young girl. We're going to bang her, and then she's going to pay the bulk of the rent. I go, does that sound like a good idea? He's like, hell yeah, let's do it.
That sounds like
Yeah, right?
Dirty bastard.
So, well, let me tell you, the whole thing's a fantasy. Let me tell you the reality, how it goes down. So I put an ad in. A girl shows up. We go through a bunch of different people. Well, finally, a girl, she's about 22, smoking hot, shows up with her mother and her grandmother. And they do a tour of the house. I show her her bedroom is. And then she goes, and they're telling me this story of what a sweet girl she is, right?
Mhm.
So we're sitting in the living room, and the girl goes, she goes, Dave, can I talk to you in the kitchen alone? And I go, yeah. So we go back there, and she's got these short shorts on, a little belly shirt, and just cute as can be. And she presses her breast up against me, and she goes, would it be a problem if I were to tan topless on the front porch? Because there's a wall there. And nobody could see me. It would just be maybe you if you were to just, walk by. But would that be okay? And I go, hey, so anyway, so here's the contract. If you just want to sign right here, we go ahead and get this started.
Yeah.
So she moves in, and let me tell you, it was a battle from the start. So 3 days after she moves in, I'm laying on the couch trying to take a nap in the middle of the summer on a Saturday, and she comes up and she sits at the edge of the couch, and she's crying, and she goes, Dave, I don't know that I can pay rent next month. And I go, well, you just paid this month. I go, you got 27 days to come up with, X number of dollars.
Yeah.
She goes, well, but I don't even have money for my medication. And I go, well, I mean, what do you need? A Tylenol? She goes, no. She goes, I'm, I don't know how to say this, but I'm bipolar, manic depressive. And I go, Jesus, lady, in the interview process, when I said, is there anything I need to know? That would have been a good time to interject this information in. And now you're telling me you're non-medicated? So it's like,
And a psycho.
right. And smoking hot.
Yeah.
And I'm not banging her at all. Okay.
Yeah.
But what is happening is the front door is a revolving door, and guys are coming in one after another.
No shit.
Oh, it was incredible. So I'm fighting this battle. So my roommate, the other guy, he was a trainer for the Washington Redskins. So he was at summer camp. So the dude comes back at the end of the month just to check in. He comes in exhausted. He had this nice Rolex watch, throws it in the hallway closet. He's going to jump in the shower. When he comes out, this girl's boyfriend has the watch on.
Oh shit.
Now I'm asleep. I'm asleep in my bedroom. Okay, it's late at night, and I hear fighting and cussing and screaming, and I'm like, I'm gonna let this dude deal with that shit. I'm just gonna sleep through this because I was supposed to start a new job. First day job, day one, new job in the morning. I was supposed to be there at 4:30. So, well, I go to sleep with them fighting, and I just block it out. When you live in Southside, you can sleep through fire trucks, police,
Yeah.
gunshots, murders, whatever, right? You get conditioned for that. So I wake up about an hour later to flashlights shining around the door frame of my door, and they're beating on the door because I got a deadbolt on my bedroom door.
Yeah.
And they go, Birmingham police, open up. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I go, hang on, I sleep naked. Let me get dressed. And I hear them. They go, he's probably getting a gun. Get ready.
Are you serious?
I put a pair of shorts on, and when I slide the deadbolt, they kick it in, tackle me, handcuff me, drag me outside. And those two, the girl, her boyfriend, and my roommate are all handcuffed out front. And I'm like, what the fuck is going? Oh, and by the way, there's cops all the way around the house. There's a dozen cops out there.
Holy fuck.
So what happened is when he saw that guy with a watch on, he goes, fuck you, I'm calling the police. She goes, I'm calling the police too. The boyfriend said, I'm calling the police. So they had 3 911 calls from the same house in a matter of 60 seconds.
Right.
So they converged all hell on my house. In the meantime, I'm asleep in the back, getting blindsided. And so there's cops all the way around. It's 2 a.m. I'm supposed to be at a new job at 5 a.m. across town. And we're all handcuffed, and I figure we're all going to jail.
Right.
So the cop runs all of our info, and he says, "Do you realize who you had living in your house?" And I said, "No." He said, "This girl was in a drug rehab / insane asylum, and she escaped. And her mother apparently she escaped, went to her mother's house, and her mother was looking at houses for rent to hide her daughter at."
And found your
And
ass.
found me. Yeah.
Damn.
And so she was hiding her out at my house, playing this whole charade that she was a good girl.
Yeah.
In the meantime, she was running a whorehouse out of the back of my house while I was at work.
No way.
So we went to her bedroom, me and the police. She had, those buckets that the kids use at the beach?
Yeah.
The beach
Sand
bucket?
bucket, yeah.
Yeah. She had a bucket of condoms, like this big, underneath the bed, heroin needles, and to top it all off, she had clothes that my mother had bought me for Christmas with a tag still on them that she had stolen, hung up in the closet for her boyfriend, whoever, to wear. But shit she was stealing from me.
That you hadn't realized.
I didn't even realize it. I'm a jeans and t-shirt guy. What the fuck
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So it was wild. So he goes, let me ask you something. He goes, what's the vetting process to rent a room at this house? And I go, short shorts and a pair of titties. He goes, apparently.
Apparently.
So he takes them to jail. He takes both of them to jail.
Her and the guy.
Yeah. Oh, the dude was like a felon. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And I don't know if he was pimping her out or what, but it was a wild scene, dude. It was wild.
What did the other guy do?
No, he just looked at me and goes, who the fuck you renting the house out to, man? The typical shit.
Hey,
Where on the
motherfucker,
front end he was excited.
He was all excited. Yeah. Then.
But I'll never forget that. That was so silly.
Yeah, you got to quit watching Bang Bus with your roommates.
Yeah. So, first of all, I don't watch porn with another dude. That's weird, number one.
Pass me that tissue.
Yeah. But people talk about it just maybe when you talk about calling the police.
Yeah, on everything.
It just escalated. It
Yeah.
escalated tenfold from where it had to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with down here. Something that could have easily been handled, discussed. The fact you never know what somebody else is having. They're having a bad day, so you're gonna jump out there and call the police. And that cop figured out. I mean, I told him while I was down there. I said, "Look, my wife's at the damn animal clinic right now, putting another one down." I said, "We'll kill this bitch right here."
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's funny because and that's another thing. Everybody's so scared to say things in front of the cops. But obviously, I didn't say anything out of turn because they would have took that opportunity to be all over me.
Mm.
I didn't use profanity at the lady. I didn't raise my voice at the lady, and I was just plain. I was just plain and simple with them.
Yeah.
But it didn't have to go there. You know what I'm saying? And so many people are quick to. They're keyboard warriors or they're going to call. And you think about those red flag laws that they're trying to pass. This fucking bitch can call. And, if they ever pass that in the state, this bitch calls it. Yeah, I had an incident with my neighbor 2 years ago, and I just think that he's a problem. Next thing I know, I got motherfuckers beating on my door.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? People don't realize that's where we're getting to. And I know we don't try to talk politics and stuff like that, and I'm not, but what I'm trying to say is talk to your neighbor, talk to people, get to know them, and I'm sure that lady's a nice lady. That's my thing. Is I don't really begrudge that lady. I just think that she went about it wrong.
A lot of people have so little going on in their lives that they look for an opportunity to create some excitement or some drama.
Right.
I have found that out, you know.
Absolutely.
But I will tell you that I am I'm very fortunate to live where I live, but my past two houses in Southside, I mean, me and the neighbors were incredibly tight. We had poker night on Wednesday night across the street, and we all had keys to each other's house. And even now, I remember a few months after I moved in, you guys have a key to my house.
Hmm.
And I went wherever on a trip, and Amber was watching the dogs.
Yeah.
And I will never forget this. The guy across the street took a picture of Amber's car and said, "Is this car supposed to be here?" And she
Yeah.
was there feeding the dogs.
Yeah.
And he texted it to me. He says, "If not, I'll call the police right now."
Yeah.
That is the way you handle it.
Exactly.
That bitch over there, if she lived across the street, she would have just called the police.
Yeah, and it'd been a
Right.
fucking full on goddamn
Yeah.
SWAT team up in that bitch.
Right,
Amber,
right.
Amber standing there with dog food in her hand, going, "What the fuck?" You know, God damn.
Soft dog food.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing about it is that bitch if she'd have been in your across the street neighbor, she probably would have never talked to you at that point either,
Right, right.
because they're not. I mean, get out. I mean, I'm out my yard a ton.
Mm-hmm.
My neighbor across the street knows me. You
Yeah.
know, he watched my. We had some really cool neighbors that lived next door for a while. They were renting the house next door, and man, they were true blue, nice people. You know, just damn people, get out, talk, wave. Don't think that everybody's trying to cut your throat, kill you, do it everything. Don't believe all the hype. You
Yeah.
know that.
I just think a lot of people are more reclusive now. I think they're used to communicating maybe over the computer
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
and not face to face. My folks are very old school. There's a family that moved in across the street from my parents.
I bet your mama went over there with a delicious meal, didn't she?
She went over there with a fucking pie.
God
She went old
damn.
school.
Where's your mama live? I need to move.
Well, so here's the funny thing. She took a pie over there. They took it. She goes, "They didn't say thank you or anything." And she goes, "You know the most disappointing part?"
They
She
didn't
goes,
return her pants.
"Yes, she didn't get a pan back." And I'm like, Jesus, that's what you. And no,
That's old school though, man.
yep,
That's how you start the back and forth.
yeah,
You bring that. She probably brought it in a nice glass dish or
Yep.
a nice tin pan.
yeah,
She brought it over the old school way, which is a good way. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying all the old school ways are the best way, but she goes over. She presented a pie, delicious as fuck. I'm sure.
yes,
They eat it. Couple days later, the wife takes the pan, wash clean, probably wrapped in a little towel.
yeah,
She brings it back over to your mom. Hey, Mrs. Mom, we taught and they this and that, and then that gives your mom the opportunity to ask a few little questions to determine if this bitch is crazy.
Well, let me tell you how it got brought up is because I saw a for sale sign a few months after those people moved in,
Mm-hmm.
and I go, "Those people already moving?" And she, my mom's a little nosy.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And so she goes, and then she told me the story, and she goes, and come to find out, not only did I not get the pan back, she goes, but the house got foreclosed on. She goes, now I'll never get it back. I was like, Jesus Christ, they're $200,000 in the hole. You worried about a pan? Come on, lady. They got other shit to worry about.
That is funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Man.
So.
I called it though, didn't I?
Oh, yeah.
I knew.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Well,
awesome.
because I think you know how my mother is.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but that's just quintessential, her upbringing, how
Yeah.
it is.
And it should be that way. It
Yeah.
should be that way.
Yeah.
You know, I did that at an apartment one time. Is I was coming home and had a guy that lived below me. He had moved out, and another couple was moving in. They were in the process. They were physically moving stuff in, and I just stopped. Not knocked on the door, nothing. But I just stopped in the breezeway as they were coming in and out, and I said, "Hey, how's it going? I'm your neighbor, boy." And they looked at me like I was casing the joint. And I just walked up. You know, I was going into my door, but I just paused as I knew they were about to come out, and I just, "Hi, I'm Chris, introduced myself, and they looked at me like I was trying to rob them. I was like, so what the fuck is wrong with people?
You should have said, "Come to my house. Why don't you stand at my doorway and look inside here? You think I want any of your
Your
shit?"
shit.
I wouldn't have that
Your
in my
shit.
apartment.
I know, but that's when people are fucking man. They we beat in. People just beat in all that stuff that everybody's out to get you. And it's crazy, but like we'll go back to the thing Friday. I mean Saturday, the meet and greet with Miranda.
Mm,
Man, I met some wonderful people. It was
yeah.
amazing.
Mm.
Met a lot of the girls at the leaders, met some other people, introduced people I knew to people other people, and it's like, Jesus Christ, man, and just meet some people.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the whole thing with you and the breweries. You go out and you,
I meet all kinds of people,
Yeah.
and it's fun. Just be open minded. Listen, I met a guy at I may have mentioned it to you, and I'm seriously considering having him on. This guy's story is incredible at Club South. Never knew him, young kid, but this dude, his it's such an incredible story. I almost feel ridiculous telling it, but he said at 15, his mother dumped him off.
oh yeah.
Yeah, at a train station with a bottle of whiskey and a pack of cigarettes and said, "I can't afford you anymore. Now start your life." And he hops on a train and he goes and he joins a circus.
That's crazy.
And he was a part of a circus at 15 for 4 years. After the circus, then he develops this lifestyle where he just starts train hopping and he learns how to, and apparently there's a whole underground network
Yeah.
on what cars to jump, what time they come,
Mm.
which ones are safe, which ones have showers, which ones have food. I didn't know this, but he's telling me this
They have
story.
showers and food.
Some of them on the back of them have showers back there, and I
Yeah,
didn't know
almost
that.
like a caboose type situation.
Yeah, and the guy is absolutely blowing my mind. So then he goes on, and I go, "So what do you do nowadays? I mean, are you just a train hopper, or what's your deal?" And so he had saved his money, a group of, like, I don't want to call them hippies, but it's a group of these people that they pulled their money together. They bought this school bus, retrofitted it into a kitchen, and they travel the country and they feed. And he told me, he said, "I'll feed anybody, from a millionaire to a homeless person." And it's almost like a giant food truck, but it's a school bus
Hmm.
that they made into a food truck, and they just travel all over. And he says it's mobile, so whenever we get where we're going, for sanitary reasons, we sleep underneath it, park benches, or we find a wooded area, but nobody sleeps inside there for sanitary reasons. Um, and I mean, the guy's story, it was just one incredible thing after another. I got his contact information.
How was he? I know the guy that you pointed.
The guy with dreadlocks.
Yeah. But I don't know why he was there, or who he was with.
So he showed up. He had a motorcycle with a knapsack rolled up on the back. So, I mean, the dude
So
was
he heard
just,
about the event somehow.
yeah. And he says he pops into Club South from time to time.
Oh, okay.
And he heard about the event and he just wanted to check it out. But he's got a motorcycle. He says, I can fill it up with $10 worth of gas
Yeah.
and go wherever.
Yeah.
And the kid was fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
I bet he's got some crazy ass stories. How
Yeah.
do you join the circus at 15? What circus do you go join?
How do you join the circus?
Yeah.
Period. I mean, goddamn, what talents are you bringing? You know?
Yeah, I mean, is it a circus or a carnival? And if you join a carnival, those weird traveling carnival things like that. At 15, if I was a carnival owner, do I look at the kid and go, "Look, I'm gonna let you work and I'll pay you on the table. If the cops show up, you better take off running because I'm not gonna get in trouble for having some underage kid."
If you're a carnival owner, do you really think you're worried about following the law? Have you seen some of these characters?
I just
mean,
don't want to disparagingly talk about it.
Yeah. and if a kid showed up and say, "Hey, I'm 15. I just got dropped off at the train station with a bottle of whiskey and a pack
Like
of
a
cigarettes. Hey, welcome on. Hey, okay, that's good enough resume for us. Come on, join the circus."
Yeah, you're not gonna bitch about if you have to fucking do a little extra hard work.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that kid, he's in there. He was probably up for anything.
Yeah,
You know.
he just wanted to eat.
Sure. But we'll get him on and he'll tell his story, and it's wild. So I saw him, and so we're in our 40s, and I thought he was close to our age. And I asked him, I said, I'm just curious. I mean, you've lived this such a life. How old are you? And you saw him, right?
Yeah, he's about 40 to 45 ish, maybe. Yeah, I'd say at least 45.
25.
What?
Swear to
There's
God.
no way that motherfucker's 25.
25 is what he told me,
Holy fuck.
which to me brings validity to the story because you live a hard
Yeah,
life
you
like
live a hard
that.
life. You live a lot.
Yeah.
But I didn't examine him. You know what I'm saying? I didn't focus on him real hard, but just from a distance, I didn't even speak with him that I remember, but from a distance, he looked like he was in his 40s.
Yeah.
But I'm
That's
a
what I
I'm a
thought.
handsome 40 though. I mean,
Well, you and me both. We're a
I'm a good
couple of lookers, ain't
good
no
look
doubt.
good looking.
but he caught me off guard with that.
No shit. So for the last 10 years, he's been carnivaling and or circusing or whatever the hell
Yeah.
he's doing and feeding homeless people.
So it's one of two things. It's either super stressful, which caused him to age rapidly,
Poor hygiene of not, being able to take care of your skin, not being able to take care.
right?
First of all, I'm not a dread fan.
I'm not either.
The only time I ever saw dreads on anybody, I thought, that looks good. That what was it, Angelina Jolie in Gone in 60
Oh,
Seconds.
Jesus, yeah.
She did look good in dreads,
Yeah.
but she's just a looker in general.
Sure.
But that's the only time I could ever say that I was like, "Ooh, look at that hot chick in dreads."
Yeah, it's not often. But you think about somebody with so little social responsibilities, stress. I've talked to you about the stresses of
Hmm.
professional
Yeah,
life, and
yeah.
you know that everybody has it. And you would think this guy would have skin like silk, with so little stress.
But if you're stressed about eating or maybe being a tap dude, hopping trains, there's got to be some psycho motherfuckers, man.
And that is exactly what we talked about. And I didn't want to say too much tonight, but I asked him, I said, what about murderers, rapists, just violent people in general? And he says, oh, yeah. He says, you encounter them.
Hmm.
They're out there. He says, you hear about them and you're hopping into a box car with the door open. He says, you don't know what you're hopping into. And he
Hmm.
says, and you run into all kinds of characters that are waiting to prey on a
A
15-year-old, a
15.
20-year-old, whatever,
Yeah,
you
somebody
know.
that they think they can overpower.
Sure. Yeah. So, it's not as stress free as what you would think. We
Right.
have stresses, but they have another set of stresses.
I'm gonna tell you what. I'd much rather be worried about having to pay a bill than somebody trying to poke me in the old outdoor
Or cut your throat
throat.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, so I used to, at my previous job, I used to get to work at 4:30, 4:45 in the morning, and I don't mind. I'm a morning guy. I like getting up at 3 a.m. And I would always come across homeless people walking the streets at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
And without fail, I would always think to myself, there's so few perks of being homeless. One of them is the ability to sleep in. So I always wonder, what are you doing walking around at 4 a.m.? Why don't you be sleeping in,
Sleeping in, yeah.
taking advantage of the one perk you got? right?
Well, they're probably going in. Well, the summertime, they're probably going to find a cool place to sleep midday, and they're up.
Four, no, three, it was like 3, 4 a.m.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But you get up and move around when it's cool and do what you gotta do, and then when it's blistering hot outside, you're probably going to find a place to hide.
Well, whatever. I'm just saying.
They're sleeping all day while you're working.
You don't
hard.
have a benefits package. The one is sleeping in. So take advantage of it.
I took me a little nappy nap today. Amber walked by me and she goes, we're taking a nap," and I'm like, "I'm not taking a nap." She goes, "You're tired." And she goes, "I can see it on your face." And I was like, "You don't know me."
Yeah.
I was so, but of course I went in there and take a nap. And she laughed. She goes, "You're gonna be asleep in 6 seconds." And I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm gonna fight it."
You made it to 10.
Just about. I think I was probably closer to 6, but I was out.
Yeah. I mean, we've all been there. Christ.
Sleepity sleep.
Oh, yeah.
So other than that, just recapping on what we were talking about earlier with Miranda and everybody. Let's see where we're at. I don't even know. Hadn't gone near as far as I thought we was going, but talking about Miranda's show and stuff like that, I wanted to remind everybody that might be in Tennessee. She's going to be in the Chattanooga Harley dealership doing their premiere deal. like that. She's been on some other shows. I'd like to go on and say that we're the best show that she's on.
Ain't no doubt. I think it's gonna be what is that? October 4. She's gonna be there, I believe.
Something like that's right.
5. I think it's October 5th.
So yeah, so anybody riding bikes that's listening, make sure that you if you're in that area, check it out. You never
Hmm.
know, might be a good thing. I think they're gonna have it on a big screen down there. Her premiere.
Yeah, and if you haven't checked out her trailer yet, definitely do that. I'm gonna tell you, and I've said it 100 times privately. The audio of it, I mean, the audio and just the sound of it. Maybe it's because we pay attention to ours.
Hmm.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, her audio and I mean, and the visuals of it, but just the editing is just so on point of the trailer. I'm really looking forward
Hmm.
to the show itself.
Well, let's talk about too. We had a great opportunity to meet her close friend Christy,
Hmm.
and she is from Soul Sisters Paranormal.
Out of Ocala,
Oh,
Florida.
yeah, that hit home for you, right?
Hey, that's where I
Everybody's
graduated high school. I love it.
yeah. So, very very interesting lady, chick, and she does a show. She does a fantastic show, and it's that ripple effect going back to the beginning of this show, talking about meeting people and just putting yourself out there. We'd never met that lady, without the domino effect of meeting this person, meeting that person, doing that and that. But she's got a I've been watching a few of her shows, and her shows are really nice too, man. I'm gonna tell you what.
Talking about editing and all
Yeah,
the
God.
black and white effects and everything, and the way she cuts actual vintage footage and it works it into her show is
Yeah.
really incredible.
Yeah, I need to hit her up on who's doing that because Miranda's got a great guy that he shoots good video. He does great editing, and then of course whomever is doing this chick's or I don't know her sister's name. Some horrible names, Christy. If you're listening to this, some horrible names. I've had to say your name like 30 times just to remember it. But her and her whoever does the, I mean, it might be them. I mean, I didn't ever ask her. It might be her doing the work.
It may be.
And but whoever's doing that work, man, has done a fantastic job. I need to take a class from them and learn how to do a lot of that good stuff.
Well, that's probably more than a 1 day
Oh, I'm
class.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. But
But what makes Soul Sister so interesting? And so it's Christy and her twin sister, and then I believe it's a younger sister, and then two of her friends.
okay.
Yeah. So it's a group of girls, and then they go around Central Florida. And actually, if I'm not misunderstanding, they've actually been all over the country. They're based out of Central Florida.
Right.
They've been to the Mall Barker House
Yeah.
and various places around that area.
Yeah, I think I may have misunderstood too, but I want to say that Christy Scout stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I think because she has a little bit more of a flexibility of time, and then she kind of lays it out to the other girls on we can do this one, this one, this one, and I guess they choose, and then
And they all convene
they
there.
convene and do whatever they do,
Yeah.
which to me is fascinating, and I think when we start you don't realize what people put into things until you start talking to them. It's like paranormal's not really my thing, and but we saw some weird shit Saturday night.
I was about to go there. I was going to let you finish.
Okay, we saw some weird shit Saturday night. I was kind of waiting for this as a little tease at the end. Um, but it's fascinating to meet people that more. And I know we've talked a lot in the last few months about paranormal stuff, but we're gonna have a chance to meet people that do many other things as well. But it's so funny when you latch on to somebody that's out of your realm. And I always use like it's almost like you see a car you're interested in, right, at the dealership, and then now you see it all over. Every time you look around, you see whereas before it was just oblivious to you.
Right.
And now that we've met Miranda and been so fascinated with her, and then met her friend, and I'm fascinated with what she's doing because it's the same but different, and you just get a little different flavor to it. It's amazing how many of these people are out there, even
Hmm.
though they say it's a small community. But damn, I would have never thought.
Well, it's a small community of people that actively engage in it, but so many people have had an experience that they can relate to Miranda in. So I think that's where it expands.
Well, I'll let you kick this off. Now that I talked about my experiences in Ocala, Florida,
Mm.
and after the show Friday night, I pulled up on Google Earth the house, and Christy knew of the house. And she was like, "Yeah." And I explained to her in great detail what the inside of that house looked like. And she's been in that home. And so
She did an investigation in
I
there.
don't know if she's done an investigation. She's been in that house. It's open to the public now.
Hmm.
And so pretty convinced she knew I was talking what the hell I was talking about.
Yeah.
And it was a burn that image in your brain for weird shit going on. That was 20 years ago.
Uh-huh.
But so just to let the cat out of the bag, you know, we went totally against what we said we were going to do. And what we said we were going to do is if Dave and I ever went on an investigation and fucking flashlights go off, that Dave told us, you can be in Honda, on the Honda, beside the Honda, but the Honda is leaving. Well, we
Well, in all fairness, you did have the front door locked, so I couldn't get out. So let's say that. So to kind of clarify a little bit, so Club South, we were there. We did the show on Saturday, and so Chris proposes to Miranda and Christy, and he says, "Listen, there's been some talk that the girls, when they close, they see an image, maybe a man walking towards the bathroom, right?"
yeah. Well, to be fair, let's take a half step back. I told Miranda and Christy that is things have been said to have happened in there.
Uh,
But I didn't tell them anything about what it was. I didn't tell them where, whom, what. The beginning. I wanted a clean slate. I want everybody to know that it was a clean slate. So she didn't have all her gear. She didn't come down to do a to do an investigation per se. But we're going to play. We're going to do a half-ass one after it was closed. But she had a few things, and we went in and we set up, and hopefully Amber doesn't get mad about us talking about this, but hell, she's told everybody too, personally. But we set up some stuff around, and I kind of halfway got it. I was like, yeah, set something up over there, something over here, blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm going to let you know, and I'm not going to give the cat out of the bag completely on where all the parts were in this building. But when we sat there for about an hour when she was setting up and before we really got anything kicking off, nothing was going on. She set those fucking flashlights up. Nothing, no activity, whatever. So she started talking to it, and Christy's filming. So Christy's hands are completely seen. She's got a camera, one of those little, what do you call it, the gyro things to hold the camera. She's got in there.
it's like a stabilizer.
Yeah, the stabilizer. There's no little triggers. And I watched Miranda set all these flashlights up. And they're the twist kind, little mag lights.
Uh-huh.
The ones we've taken apart and
Right.
saw there's no funky shit going on.
Yeah.
I watch her set them up, this and that, in the various places. And we're sitting there, and she starts asking questions. Nothing's going on. I'm like, what a bunk, man. In my head.
So
Hey,
I got to interject.
yeah,
So it's Miranda and Christy, Chris, Amber stayed home because she was just wiped out from the day's
Mhm.
events. So then I had, a friend there, a girl there, and I remember her looking over at me because this is the first time
yeah. This girl has no connection to not really
anybody,
but
me,
you on just a couple occasions.
right? So I met her on one previous occasion, and I told her, what we were gonna do, and so she's sitting there and nothing is happening, and she's looking over at me like, "What kind of horse shit, is this?"
Yes,
And then things start to pick up,
yes,
and you can see everybody sit up and really start to pay attention.
yeah. Because what it was Amber had given me some key things to hit off on, and names, questions. So I start feeding this to Miranda to ask these questions, and still nothing's really happening. And I can't remember what it was that really set it off. But all of a sudden, I'm not going to tell where it was. I'm getting damn chicken skin thinking about it. One of these fucking flashlights starts shaking and coming on. And that's when we all perked up. We
Yeah.
were like, holy shit. And I know my eyes were, we had the lights down low,
Mhm.
fairly low. Miranda had nothing. She
Right.
honestly had zero things in her hands. So anybody says, "Well, did they have any little triggers?" Dude, her hands were completely fucking empty.
Yeah.
And I'm watching because I am the biggest skeptic. I'm the biggest skeptic. And so things start going and the fucking light goes off and I'm like, okay, that was a little fucking weird. So we start going and I know we're giving it away, but we're gonna do a better investigation down the road. Got to.
I have to tell this one
Tell them one thing. Go on.
thing. So, off on the side, she sets up two flashlights side by side on a table, and we're looking right at them. And so Miranda goes, she goes, if you're a male spirit, turn the flashlight on the right.
Hmm.
And we wait, and it's dead.
Dead.
And she goes, if you're a female spirit, turn the one on the left. And I'm telling you, man, as soon as she said that, it didn't just barely come on.
It went pop.
It came on. I mean, it was
The
bizarre.
look on your face, the eyes. I looked at you. I think I came around at that point.
It was
Like,
stunning because
yeah,
I was like 4 feet from it, and it was shocking to me.
yeah. But what was wild, and I don't know what order we had. She had only had one light over there at one point, and then later she put the twos when
Right.
she asked that question.
Hmm.
But when the light was just at one, right, and I was over at a certain area, and she's asking questions, and apparently the person that the girls feel like was is maybe hanging around was a regular, that, and this goes against thing, you asked the question back in February, why do ghosts always seem like they're from way 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 back when,
Hmm.
and she said, well, no, not, it's not always true. Well, this guy passed away in 2014. Okay, so that's pretty fucking recent.
Right.
So remember when she's asking about music and she goes, Chris, you play some classic rock, and I pull up on my phone some classic rock, and it was CCR, which everybody fucking loves CCR. I don't care who you are. And man, when I hit that thing, that's when that fucking flashlight over there
Yep.
went bing. I
Yeah.
mean, it come on soon as the first lick of,
Yeah.
and then that fucking thing came on out, dude. And then my whole right arm, not my left arm that was holding the fucking phone, my whole right arm got cold as fuck, and chicken skin come up, and I was like, and hers did almost the same thing.
Yeah.
And Christy filmed it. It was the weirdest shit. I started to run. I was like, okay, it's time to
Looking
fuck.
for that Honda boy.
I was like, holy fuck! So I was all in, man. They hooked me there.
Yeah.
They hooked me when I hit the play button on my phone and that damn light went off
Huh?
with excitement. She had me hook, line, and sinker. I was like,
Oh, it was incredible. So you and I, so the theory is that maybe they weren't fans of men, right?
yes,
So you and I step outside, we go out on the front sidewalk, and we leave the girls, three girls inside there. So when we come in, Lindsay, my friend, she said that she had asked because they had some flashlights set up on the pool table, and she had asked them, "What do you like to drink? Do you like?" And she went through various drinks, and when she said gin and tonic, it immediately came on. And I'm just telling you, it is so. Listen, the bottom line is this: season 2. Okay, if you haven't watched season 1 yet, check it out.
watch that shit.
Ghost Biker Explorations. Check it out on YouTube. Season 2 is coming out in a couple weeks.
Hmm.
Check out the trailer. She's on Facebook. Ghost Biker Explorations. Vixen.
Runaway Vixen.
Runaway Vixen on Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. But check it out. Season 2, if it is anything like 1 or what we experienced last weekend, I'm telling you, it'll blow your mind.
And even I told her, and I know I don't know if if it rubbed them wrong or not, but even after it was all said and done, and a lot of crazy shit went on in a 2 hour, couple hour period, and but even when we were standing outside, when it was all said and done, I was like, even being the skeptic that I am, I'm like, if you believe in what just fuck happened,
But I don't know how you couldn't believe after you witnessed it what we saw.
I know, but I was like, my head was just racing. I couldn't just say. I don't know why I couldn't just say that shit just went down. I'm just like, if you believe in just what went down, That was some weird shit. But you can't. I mean,
Because it's so difficult to wrap your mind around. It's so far outside of the norm, as
Mhm.
you and I know in everyday life.
Mhm.
It's just tough to comprehend
You
that.
mean you mean edge a kicker that you don't know about?
Go ahead.
The and I didn't know this until well after. Uh, if hopefully I'm not stating this wrong, but the person that we think we were talking to,
The girl?
the guy, the downstairs, that was
Uh,
a guy,
uh,
which he liked girls. You know, that was why we think he didn't like men in there, or whatever. Do you know that it was his birthday the day before?
no way.
That's what Amber says.
Huh.
It was either his birthday or the day of his death. I can't remember, but I think it was his birthday.
That is why. I did not know that. Huh. Yeah. That was the guy that passed on the 14th. Oh, excuse me, 2014?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
So,
Well,
well, all I can say is when we asked questions specific to him, some weird shit was going down.
yeah.
And then when we asked about a specific, or we asked if there was a chick in there in a completely different portion of the building. So we had two totally different things going on,
Mhm.
people. I look I look forward to Miranda coming back and doing a
Yeah.
full on fucking show with that.
So I'll say this. So the way the bathrooms are at Club South is you go down like a little hallway and then there's a sink in the back and that's where we had the flashlight set up.
Hmm.
So Lindsay and I are in the back and whenever Miranda or you or somebody would go in that hallway,
Hmm.
internally I thought, well, they're fucking dead. And that was because I mean we just saw a flashlight going on and off in there, and I'm like, well, nice knowing those two motherfuckers.
Yeah,
I guess
'cause
we'll see them again.
I was brave as fuck, wasn't I, man?
Fuck that.
I
Just-
went bouncing right on down that
m-
hallway.
well, my line is I was protecting Lindsay, so I'd stay in the back.
Let's tell.
No way.
Why don't you tell everybody what you told me when we went outside?
Oh, we're outside. The girls are inside. You know, and we're hearing shit. I don't know. I mean, you hear things moving around and banging, and I turn to Chris and I go, "Listen, we walk back in there. If it's a complete bloodbath, we're just gonna lock the door and leave. I mean, we act like we don't know what happened because we didn't know how the spirits were gonna react. But it was part joking and I guess a part serious. I don't know.
He's
But
like, I'm not fucking. What would have been bad is to go back in and couldn't open the door back up even when it was unlocked.
oh shit, yeah, yeah. But I will tell you. So I actually did a job years ago on Long Island,
Hmm.
and I went to the original Amityville house.
Oh wow.
Yeah, right there in Oyster Bay.
Yeah, didn't they change the windows on the top to change the look of it or something? At some point, one of the owners, because they were getting so many crazies coming by trying to look at the house.
I don't
You know the
know.
little half.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I don't know. I couldn't say, but it was definitely you were able to discern that it was the house
Yeah,
because I had someone drive me by it.
yeah, yeah,
But I would have never thought of it had we not have went through that experience. But it's just something that just came to me. So I mean, it's super creepy, to see that
yeah.
stuff.
Well, some weird shit went down, and
Yeah.
I will never claim to be an expert as paranormal stuff. I've had some weird things happen to me in the past that I can't explain. The one being in Ocala, I told that story in February. I mean, that was just some real weird shit. And to see what went down was that Sunday morning, I guess it technically would be, we're between 2 and 5 Sunday morning. That was some real shit. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. Anytime Miranda went to move something, move a light, move a pot, thing that she had that gives off energy, I didn't tell her I was doing it until after it was over, but I was shadowing her everywhere she went because I am such a huge skeptic. And, Penn and Teller's made a career fooling people, right?
I don't think she is. She's not.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm just saying, if she fooled me that morning, she is fucking awesome. Because I'm just saying that for the skeptics and the people go, oh well, she pulled the wool over your eyes. If she pulled the wool over my eyes, I'm just telling you straight up, and I'm pretty observant. and I was purposely being extremely observant. If she pulled the wool over my eyes, she is an expert.
Well, I will tell you, as closely as you watched Miranda, I had an eye on Christy because my thinking is it was a diversion tactic.
Yeah.
They would expect you to watch Miranda.
Hmm.
So for that reason, and I saw how closely you watched her, I had an eye on Christy to make sure it wasn't that old.
Switching bait
Yeah,
and switch thing. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I watched her, and I'm telling you, she had a spotlight on one hand, and then the camera stabilizer in the other.
Hmm.
You know, and I'm telling you, it was 100% legit.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah,
And I hope they got great footage. Maybe they could put a little mini shot, little teaser
yeah, like a
together.
little behind the scenes.
Yeah, a little teaser together for the thing. Maybe they could post them up. I'm telling you, as much history. That building's old as fuck. It's a very interesting building inside and out with the architecture. I just think it would make a great show.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and I'll be glad. I'll go up in that thing with them again. I'll do it again.
Hmm.
And it was wild, man.
It was wild when you see it firsthand. Is what really. And so we had a ball. It's like a spiky rubber ball that when you move it, it lights up.
Mhm.
And so we put it in the back bathroom right next to the flashlight.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I was holding my breath. I know I didn't leave and get in the Honda,
Mhm.
but that ball had come bouncing out. My ass would have for sure been gone. That would have been the deal breaker
That
right
would have been
there.
the things
That
start moving.
Yeah, that would have been too much.
Yeah, when she put cards up to be knocked off, and if they would have failed, I'd have been like, all right, guys, let's wrap this shit up.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I can't believe that I stayed all in with the lights going off, but I was mesmerized. I
yeah.
was mesmerized, man. I was like, what
Well,
the fuck?
and I didn't get an evil or uncomfortable feeling. It was just a
Almost inviting feelings. Like it was almost like when somebody's trying to talk to you, and you're just now okay. Now you got my attention,
yeah,
kind of feeling.
yeah,
That's what it was. I didn't have it feeling like fucking
like you're in
Shaggy. Yeah,
danger.
like Shaggy and Scooby going,
Yeah,
"Oh God, we gotta go."
yeah.
It's
No,
yeah. I was like,
no. It was definitely a little unsettling because it's the unknown.
yeah,
You know, but you didn't feel like you were ever in danger.
yeah. I didn't have that fight or flight feeling.
No, because when you guys were upstairs, I always stayed in the doorway so that I could keep an eye on the upstairs and the downstairs.
Hmm.
And then I even drifted downstairs at one point, and then I did my own little thing, and then that light started coming on, and I
Hmm.
was like, "Oh!" And we were this close. I was this far away from it, and
Hmm.
it was just like, "Holy shit, what's going on here?"
Yeah. So nobody was seeing you near it to
Yeah.
to
Oh
light
no.
up because they were in a completely different part of the building,
Right. Right.
out of line of sight.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just what made it so incredible.
Yeah.
So. But anyways, it was a neat experience,
I'm all in, man. I gotta do some more. That
Yeah.
was some wild shit.
So I'll tell you, so that kind of goes back to I've always thought to myself, if I could say something to my younger self and do things over, what would I say? And I've always said I would say yes to more things.
Hmm.
Take more opportunities, take more risk. Now that's coming from a guy that's taken a lot of risk, right? I mean, I've done a lot of shit and I've seen a lot of things, and I've probably done a lot of things maybe I shouldn't have, and many things my mother wouldn't be proud of.
Right. Right.
But those are the kind of opportunities like what we did on Saturday.
Oh, that was one for the books,
Oh,
man.
absolutely.
One for the books.
Yeah. So if I could say anything to anybody is say yes more, if especially if it takes you outside your comfort zone.
Yeah. D- Nothing dangerous, but outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not telling you go swing from a fucking cable from skyscraper to skyscraper, but
Or go to a glory hole. Who would do that? Yeah. But if you have a chance to do something, broaden your horizon.
yeah.
Even if it seems a little wacky, even if it's talking to a guy that got dumped off at 15 with a bottle of whiskey and a pack of cigarettes, listen to the story and just and I'm telling you, your mind will be blown.
Yeah.
You
No
know.
shit, man. God.
So
Well, it's great times, man. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have to we'll wrap it up, but everybody check out the season 2. Please check out Miranda. Check out that show. I'm telling you, she's got big things on the horizon.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fascinating. You're gonna say, I knew her when. Check out Chris and Christy and her
Soul Sisters.
Soul Sisters Paranormal on YouTube,
Mhm.
and they have a web page. I don't know if I got. Let's see, soulsistersparanormal.com. We got Facebook, be Soul Sisters Paranormal, and then they've got a bunch of other stuff. YouTube, of course, all that good jazz. Check out them. Man, fascinating ladies.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yep.
Well, let's hit that old John Makovica one more time, and then we'll hit some music out, and then we'll call it.
Here we go.
All right, bro.
All right, guys.
This is the Furlough Podcast, brought to you by All American Ford in Aniana, Alabama. Stop by and see John Makovica and his team today.